Tips with Toni. Tips with Toni. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Toni. Tips with Toni. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Toni. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Toni podcast. I'm Toni Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. This next interview is with Anthony Guzzo. He is a certified nutrition coach and someone who he's also a podcast host as well, the Everyday Growth podcast. But more importantly, he is a really just awesome guy. In this episode, you're going to learn about his story. We go deep and he gets honest, he gets real, and he gets vulnerable. And I can't say thank you enough to him. I think everybody needs to listen to this, learn from this, and grow from this. And if you are aware of somebody in your family who is struggling, please send them this episode. You'll understand why when you finish listening. And he doesn't hold back. Anthony is very blunt. He's very honest. And I'm actually kind of grateful for him because he kind of says the things that I sugarcoat, that I sometimes wish I had the guts to be open and honest about. So without further ado, here is the interview with Anthony. Enjoy. Hi, Anthony. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you? I'm
great. Very excited to have you here.
I am way more excited to actually be on this show finally. You're great.
Yeah. So I always start my podcast and the interviews with asking you to introduce yourself, say who you are, what you do, and why you do what you do.
What is going on, guys? My name is Anthony J. Guzzo, and I go by Anthony J for all of you who do or do not or will in the future follow me on Instagram. Why I do what I do could be a very long process here. If we have time for it, I can get you guys into it. But mainly, we are all here for help and support through nutrition and fitness. And this is what I do, and helping people get 1% better every single day to live the lifestyle that they actually truly need and want, and stop wishing and start doing.
And why did you get into that? What made you go in that path?
So the path started actually not that long ago. I could probably honestly say between 5 and 7 years ago, I got more onto the nutrition and fitness side of my life as well. Because before that, through my 20s to about 30 years old, I'm now 38 in January. Yes, I'm an old cat. I get that, guys. You don't have to make fun of me for it. Spent a lot of time hanging around the wrong people. High school was horrible for me. I hung around with people that were already graduated. I had a big older crowd of people I hung around with. And this is that story where I got swept up and started doing some really bad shit that a lot of you probably don't even know about and or have never experienced something like that before. So to dive into that a little bit, it all started with something kind of out of the movies with how I used to party. Basically, lots of drugs, a shit ton of cocaine that later became almost the death of me. And usually when I have this story on people's podcasts, I just go ahead and forewarn you that it does come off very harsh and brash. And I do stop once in a while and, get my thoughts together because it is a difficult thing to even talk about too. Actually, on the 26th was my 6th year anniversary of surviving a failed suicide attempt. This all came from getting in with the wrong crowds, having the wrong jobs, and not having good people around me. They always say the sum of the 5 people that are around you are the most important. And I had about 50 of the wrong people around me at that time. Big cocaine habit, like I said, stemmed into me selling massive amounts of marijuana to fuel my cocaine habit. Like I said, it was something out of the movies basically almost every day. I drank every single day on my days off. I thought it'd be fun to wake up in the morning and drink more than normal and just kind of take my 2 days off. 2 days off of the week that I received and just get really messed up with my friends. People stopped by my house all the time to buy weed off me, and I would just be doing tons and tons of rails. If you don't know what that is, it's big, long lines of cocaine. It was kind of my happy time to myself, which I didn't know at that time. I was so far down the depression hole that I really didn't even know how to get back out of it because I had no idea that I was in it. The people that are around me were not my friends. They were enablers. they were always there to hear my cries and woes, wipe my tears, and then feed me drugs afterwards because they were doing it too. It was always kind of like one of those things like, yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah. I love you. Cool. Hey, do this, let's get back to the drugs, like it was kind of a pat on the back, and actually that was me calling out for help, but I didn't have the right people around me.
Yeah.
I was in the restaurant business for quite a long time. And this is kind of where it all was. Like, my drug dealer was the sous chef at the restaurant, and everyone did drugs and everyone drank. I smoked pack half cigarettes a day, and I would constantly be smoking. That was just the lifestyle, man. You work 364 days. The only day you have off is Christmas, So that really stemmed into my deep, dark depression that I'm still to this day trying to get out of, and it's you don't really just jump out of that shit and like become 100%. You don't care how long it takes you to do it. It's always in the back of your head, and I always tell people too, like, they're like, you haven't done that yet. Like, you haven't done drugs since then, right? I'm like, no, not at all. I can't be around that stuff, but I could probably tell you, and the truth, the honest to God truth, if someone walked into my apartment now with a bunch of cocaine, it'd probably be really hard for me to turn them away. I'm an addict. That's just how it is. So stemming from all of that, I turned my life around and totally washed my hands of all those friends. I literally took, 10 of those 50 of those friends that I was talking to you about. And I told them, hey man, you know what? We're not a good fit no more. I tried killing myself 2 days ago. I woke up, let's go back to that really quick. So the failed suicide attempt came from me losing a 6-year relationship, a 5-year relationship with a girl, living on my own. And the biggest, darkest, deepest time in the rabbit hole that I went was one day I thought that the world would be better off without me. I thought I was doing a disservice to everyone that was around me. Why? Because I had no positivity in my life at that time. It's just, I had nothing. I had no one. Every time I turned around, every person I turned to had something negative to say or give me something that would take my spirits into a negative route. And like I said, I'll say it 1,000 times on every podcast that I'm on, like, you need good people around you to keep you sane. It's honest truth that when you start going in a direction, you need your friends to take a tug on your shirt and say, hey, listen, honest to God truth, I don't think you should be doing that, going down that route or hanging out with those people. To this day, I don't hang around with all those people. My group is gigantically small. So that is my group right now. It's a handful of people. And if someone doesn't fit into my lifestyle, and I believe that they would hold me back or pull me down at all with negativity, they're gone. So I've lost a lot of friends with this, but if they were really friends, they'd still be here. So that's kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. Yeah, it's that shuffle, right? So one night I thought, you know what? Fuck it all. I don't need to be here anymore. This kind of gets kind of dirty here. So if anybody's really fragile, it's probably shouldn't listen to this and or listen to it and pass this on to somebody that needs help too, that we all need somebody and we all know somebody. Went home by myself, literally finished off 2 full bottles of wine, big bottles of wine by myself. The goal was to die. And I started taking at that time I had pharmaceutical pills also, because why not, right? So I started taking every pharmaceutical pill I found in my drawer. I took all the aspirin that was in my house. Takes a lot of that to actually kill somebody, I found out. And ended up like doing a shit ton of cocaine too, just try to overload my system. So one of the 10 things could happen. From there, it gets kind of blurry, and I'm kind of tiptoeing around actually how much I actually did. I did enough to kill a fucking rhino, if you can put that into perspective. So next thing I know, I'm in an ambulance. Next thing I know, I wake up and I'm handcuffed to a bed at a Silver Cross hospital near my house. And I have no clothes on. I have a gown on. I'm handcuffed, both arms. I have bruises all over my arms. The story is that I fought the cops and the nurses coming in. I'm lucky I didn't get arrested. Charges were not pressed on me because of the state that I was in. I didn't just come from a bar, I didn't get arrested from a bar. I got arrested from my house, basically. But I found out later that my door got kicked in by my sister's husband at the time. And the cops, the state police, dragged me out into the ambulance. I don't remember any of that. And I fought everybody on the way in. And when I woke up and I was in suicide watch for 2 days, and I couldn't leave until all the pharmaceuticals were out of my body. And I woke up with a catheter in too. I don't know if you guys ever had one of those. Those are great. Those are fun. Not so much fun going in. Fun coming out, let me tell you. But it was the worst feeling I've ever had in my entire life. My father came into the room 2 days after, and he actually came up and hugged me. He didn't have much to say. I just said, "I'm sorry." And he said, "You do not have to apologize." And he dropped me off at my house. And that's where the story gets kind of fun, is because I walked back up my stairs, which was like 10 stairs to my apartment at the time. It felt like 100. And I walked into a door that was no longer locked because it got kicked in. So the frame was broke. I walk into my room and I walk into my apartment. It was a big ass loft at the time. And oddly enough, my house wasn't searched by the cops. The plate of cocaine was still in the corner of the house, covered up. They didn't find that. Pill bottles everywhere, just out of a movie. Like if you walked into a movie set, that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like I had a party, a Hollywood party. That's what it looked like. And that exact day, quit smoking, quit taking drugs, dumped all my drugs down the toilet, looked myself in the mirror, was disgusted by how I looked from 2 days of dehydration in the ICU and what I actually looked like. And I felt like that day, the person that looked back at me in that mirror when I was cleaning up my house was the person who looked right at me. And it was like, "You're done. Today, you live your life for everybody else because you just ruined your life's over. You should be dead." So now here I am on your beautiful podcast crying. My life, I do live it for myself. My lifestyle is for myself, but I know through my trials and tribulations that I went through that I was put here I'm still here today on this God-given earth, if that's your thing to believe in this earth, to help people until the day I die. And so now I'm a personal trainer. I work with kids. I work with a AAA hockey team. I help everybody that wants help through nutrition coaching and personal training. And with me, there is no excuses why you cannot get better, because as cliche as it sounds, if I can do it, you can. If I went through what I had to go through, you sure as shit can go through what you need to go through to get yourself healthy.
Yeah. Wow. Well, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that. I really can't say thank you enough. Like, it's one thing to be able to pull yourself out of that, get through it, and then to kind of talk about it. It's not pretty. So to talk about it, you have to feel it again. And the reason why you were doing drugs in the first place were to ignore those feelings. So it's got to be really hard, but I really want to just say thank you. And I truly believe that you've just changed somebody's life, because my guess is, I'm not going to assume anything, but I don't know who listens to the podcast and who's struggling themselves. My thought is that most people know someone who's struggling more than they're the actual one struggling. So if you're okay with it, I would love to maybe just talk about, like, at the time, I'm curious, and I hope we can talk about this, but I'm just curious because you mentioned that you didn't really have the right people around you and to support you. And at some point, your father had come in and hugged you and said it's okay, and almost like kind of was just letting you know that he was there for you. Did you have family support at any time, and maybe you just weren't receptive to it, or were they not there for you in the way that you would have hoped when you needed it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you. That was on. My parents are great. They've always tried to be the best parents they possibly could. I'm the youngest of four, and like I said, my other siblings are older than me. My parents are in their 70s and I'm almost 38. So it was just, when you do those things, you're not around the right people and you start doing drugs like that on the daily basis, all you're doing is detaching yourself further and further from oneself.
Right.
That wasn't, so in my mind, doing those things wasn't a problem. That was normal because the people I were around, were around was normal. It was normal activity for all of us to do every weekend or every day off, or getting together to do drugs, or just getting together and getting sloppy drunk like all the time. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like there was a problem for me to reach out. The depression part really sat in almost closer to the time that I tried to take my own life. Mm-hmm. That was the bottom. And I got there without knowing what I had when I look back at it, I was depressed the entire fucking time. Right. Mm-hmm. But I had no ownership of my life. So that wasn't a thing. Like, I'm not depressed, man. You're depressed. I'm not depressed. I'm happy as shit. And I was that guy, I still am to an extent, not kind of back in I put my fingers up in quotations to that extent, but like, I was the loudest guy in the room all the time. I was that guy. So like, Anthony's so great, and that's what we do with depression, right? We put on that mask. Robin Williams said it the best, it's the hardest thing to do is to put that on and to be happy around people, because as soon as like laughing and smiling and all that, and as soon as you walk out of the room, you're right back down to the ground and you're frowned. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's real. Like, nothing was real going on in my head. It was just, I was such down a deep, dark rabbit hole. I turned towards drugs, and it felt better when I was. And like, anyone that's gone through something like that, alcoholism, even our own vices that we go to, even with food, it's the same thing. When you get an emotion that goes to your body and you turn and you binge on food or you binge on alcohol, those are all really bad signs of something going on, that if you're not around anybody to pick those up, or you don't live with someone, you don't have a significant other, or like the strong friends and family around you, there's always somebody. There's always someone you can talk to. You got to fucking talk to somebody, man. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. I didn't feel like I needed to talk to anybody.
Yeah, like you said, and I feel like this is maybe a good transition. We can kind of talk about this before we started recording, but like, you at some point took full, complete ownership for what you needed to do for yourself. And at the end of the day, we can't, although support is important, we also can't blame those around us for the reasons we're not doing something. So it's a helpful tool to have the right support system, but at the end of the day, you are responsible for your actions. So I would love to hear a little bit more about kind of like how, I guess, what were your kind of first steps after getting yourself clean and sober? Like, what did you do after that? Like, what do you still do to this day to put yourself in check? Because like you said, you still have thoughts of using drugs. You just don't act on them.
Exactly. Yeah. Then that's taken me like strong mindset and mental clarity to get there. But the first thing I did do was obviously move out of my place. I tried to pick up the pieces of my life. I moved in with my sister at that time to get away from that and just start over. And the one thing I started doing was started reading. I started writing. I needed to understand why I went through that in the first place. I did not go see professional help. That's not what I did. I'm a very stubborn Italian like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything that is in my power to fix on my own, I will do that. I have coaches that I do talk to on the daily now. But I just started to really, number one thing is I went to CrossFit right away. I needed something. So obsessions, right? So as an obsessive person, obviously I need to replace something with something positive. So everything I did in my life that was negative, I got rid of.
Right.
And it took a really hard look at everything around me. We are what our surroundings are consumed with. We are consumed with our surroundings. Okay. If you live a messy life, like I always say to people, show me someone that has a messy car that has a clean house. It doesn't happen. If your car is a trash hole, your house is a trash hole. It is 100% how it is, because we're just creatures like that, right? I mean, that's how we can definitely. No one has a beautiful house, clean house, and then your car is trashy. It's not how it works. Right. So everything around me was negative. I had to start doing it. I stopped listening to music that made me feel depressed. I stopped listening to all that music I used to dial myself into every single day to feel those emotions as I did anything, drugs and whatnot. I got rid of all that music. I listen to very little music now. If anything, literally my music in the background is Gary Vee. Like, that is my jam. And it's not just about positivity and flooding yourself with motivation and positivity, because motivation only goes so far. Yeah. So like when I was saying is I took everything out of my life that was negative and I replaced it with everything that was fucking positive. And that is number one to me. Mm-hmm. And that's number one for my crew, the people that are around me. If you're not positive one day, I get it. We can talk about it. If you're not positive for 30 days in a row, you're out.
Yeah.
So I feel sorry for people that go through all of these things that I did just say and or are going through it right now that are listening to this, because I know you're out there, or you do know somebody, because we always know one person that is deeply depressed. And, as bad as this next sentence I'm going to say sounds, is I have zero patience for people who can't go forward with extreme ownership of your own life. Mm-hmm. And that's how I coach through my story, and that's how I coach for my clients also. Like, look in the mirror, take a hard look in the mirror. There's only one person looking back. Mm-hmm. That's you. And you're the only person that can make a change. Right. If there's things outside of your grasp that you need to change, that you may live with someone, or things like parents or boyfriend, significant other, I don't care who it is. If they're negative in your life and they're holding you down, you need to audit that shit. You need to audit that circle. And it's hard to walk away from family members and people who you quote unquote say you love. But guess what? When you do, and you start filling your entire day with positivity and holding the door for people, or knowing your barista's name that you see 6 times a week. If you don't know your barista's name, you see him 6 times a week, how really relevant are you to the world today? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not saying, hi, Joe, hi, Susan, hey, that's that. And if someone messes up your coffee at Starbucks, you get mad. You need to take a look at yourself, dude. That's number one. I mean, you have to change. And it does come with loving oneself. So I had to start loving myself. And it took me a long time to do that. Why? Because I didn't forgive myself. I felt that what I did, I justified that shit. I mean, think about that, guys. In order to even think about taking your own life, you justified that you're a piece of shit. You shouldn't be here. Okay. So I didn't love myself. I was 100% abusing my soul to every extent that I could. And I was fine with it because I thought that was the norm, because the people around me were doing the same thing. Okay. Yeah. So I got out of that, fixed everything, started, eating, drinking, sleeping, positivity in one ear, and giving it out to everybody that's around me. And I still do it to this day. And it's one of those things, like, when you meet me, you see me I'll hold the door for 20 people long, and I'll let my takeout food, it'll get cold in my hand until I shut that door. I'll always run up to someone, an older person in the parking lot, help them with their bags or their shopping cart or something. Like, the world gets so much better when you start living for other people and stop living for yourself. Now, take that with a grain of salt. We need to love ourselves and live our lives. We are humans. We need to blow off some steam once in a while. We need to kick back and, have some fun with some friends. But listen, the world is so big. We need to start loving everyone that we run into. And in order to do that, you have to start with oneself.
Yeah. And I think what you're saying is you live with purpose now. Whereas before you were kind of just existing and not really giving to the world. It was all about you, but just not in the right way. It wasn't even intentional. It was right. So now,
yeah, absolutely.
You live every day.
I said it.
No, but like, you live every day. Like, I truly believe this, and I'm sure everyone who listens to my podcast is like, we know Toni. I truly believe that we're put on this earth to connect with other people. We're put on this earth for a reason, for a purpose. And my main mission is to get people to commit to healthier living, because that's just the foundation. That's like the basics. You said you had one addiction that was negative and you turned it into a positive addiction, which was exercise. And that was the catalyst to get you to where you're at today. Right? So it's so important. I think so many people value, maybe is the right word, how powerful fitness can be in your lifestyle. It's not just fitness. Fitness to you was your medicine. Fitness for you was your professional help. And, I'm a big proponent of therapy, and I do believe that everyone should seek professional help. But if you're not going to, at least do something with your anger and your sadness that's going to be a positive outlet.
Yeah, 100% to go back on like what you just said too, like this is my story, right? We're all different. No one else will have the exact same story as I have. I didn't go seek professional help because I didn't. Don't ask me why. I didn't. Okay. You should. People definitely should go talk to somebody, and someone that's going to listen. Cause most of the time you go to friends and family, it's kind of like they don't know how to talk about it. B, sweep it underneath the rug. Cause let's just say mental illness right now is like dirt under a rug that no one wants to clean up, and even just be like, oh, it's in the corner. No, it's not. It's not there. Like
it's very much there. And
yeah.
Coming
you need to talk to somebody
and louder. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you said, you put it way better than I did. It's like all these healthy obsessions, like it is definitely my catalyst. It drives me every day. I just want to be like, I preach to my people, and they're probably sick of me saying it too. I have all your audience now too. So it's great. So you haven't heard this yet. So I always say, become 1% better every day. Okay. 1% is nothing. in the grand scheme of things, in the macro of it all, it turns into something. But if you can be 1% better than the day before, then you're winning. As long as you wake up and become 1% better in anything, any single millions of things you do in a day, just 1% better, you're winning. As long as you're not going backwards and looking in that rearview mirror, you're winning. And I think that's the biggest thing. And fitness for me, I turned towards fitness. And obviously now that is my healthy obsession. I want to grow my business. Even 3 days ago, I just met someone that's going to take my business in a totally different way. If this works out, I'm never satisfied, and I am definitely my biggest critic. We all are. But for me, coming from where I am, it's almost like if I could find out how to stay up for 24 hours, I would. In a healthy way. If there was something
as I just did wrapped up my own recording about sleep hygiene.
if they finally find out how I could be as healthy as I am now for 24 hours a day, I would do it, because there's just, when I go to bed, I do go to bed early enough, and I do calm down. I get away from all these blue lights and all the electronics and everything. I try to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night. Once you start doing that for a while, you feel so much better anyway than like the 5 or 6 that you're already getting. But doing that and being on a routine with everything that I do, and waking up, writing down my day, or doing it before I go to bed. We always say like a morning routine is so great. Actually, the nighttime routine rules everything. I'm putting that out there right now. Putting that out there. So I try to get all my stuff wrapped up at night. If I don't, the first thing I do is I don't pick up. Obviously, guys, don't pick up your phone in the morning. My alarm goes off. I get up, come in the kitchen right away, chug a bunch of water and my greens powder. That's what I do. And then I write down what I need to do this day. Today is basically hour to hour today. And tomorrow is no different. And then I have a little bit of a break. It's like I already know what's going on. So I've replaced all these things that I was never doing that stuff before. Like I was just punching someone else's 9 to 5 clock. And that's another thing too. I just walked away from my 9 to 5 salary job to do what I do today. And it's
congratulations.
We're going on 11 months and 2 days. So
we're near each other. Mine was February 2nd. I left my full-time job.
Awesome. It's so crazy. And it's like, in nowhere am I even close to where I would like to be. But where I've come from, I look back, it's like I get so down on myself too when like clients walk away, or people go on vacation and never come back, or I feel like I'm not satisfying my clients enough. I look back and I'm like, dude, look where you came from 10 months ago to today. Right. And like I just said, I'm winning. And because I put in the 1% every day. And, success to me, it's so funny. And I asked my good friend Grant Desiak this the other day when he was on the podcast. I'm like, what does success mean to you? And he had like the exact same answer as like how I would explain it. And I'm like, success is how I feel every day. It has nothing to do with my bank account. And like I always say, my lights are on, I have food in my fridge, and there's a roof over my head. That is success to me. I don't need to be driving the cool car, or have the cool kicks, and have the new J's every month when they come out. I don't need to have all that really dumb, glamorous shit. That's not who I am. I'm striving to do something for myself that I've never done before. Everything else was for everyone else. And I was that guy. I never took time for myself. I showed up when I was called. I did what I was asked. I always cooked for every occasion for people at that time because I was a chef. All these things I gave and gave and gave and gave. And I never, ever took one day to myself because I didn't know who I was and I didn't love myself.
Yeah. That was very honest and very real. Yeah, that's very true. We need to spend more time with ourselves, because if we don't love us, who else is going to love us? For real.
Me time is the best time, man. If you don't have me time scheduled every day, start small, try to do a couple times. But I say me time like this, like, listen, my me time is my me time. There is no distractions during my me time. None, not even from my significant other. I tell her what's going down. She gets it. And I'm trying to get her on the board too, because even being with somebody, you guys are going for a beautiful walk in a park or down the street. I get it. That's fine. Okay. That's good. That's good time. But if you're doing that and you're both looking at your phones, is it really your me time? It's not.
Correct.
It's not. If you can leave your phones at home, then it could count as me time. But when's the last time you walked out of your house, went to the park, went to a close bench without your phone and just watched people and looked at the trees and listened to the wind blowing or the squirrels or the birds around you? Like just really, really, really listened. So things just happen. Like if you don't think that's real, or like you don't like doing stuff like this, I don't like running, right? I despise running. You guys do it on profession. I love you for it. I don't know how you do it because I hate it. I've taken the David Goggins approach to it. I am now running my ass off. And within 9 weeks, I ran a half marathon. And in 5 weeks, I ran my first 10 miles. And I just finished my first 13.1 miles 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah, dude, it's great. And you want to know why? It sucks. It sucks. Yeah. I don't know I don't know why people do this. I want it to die.
I'm relating to you so much. I ran a half marathon 2 years ago. Hate running. Still to this day. Still hate running.
Yes.
Loved it for like a hot minute. Still hate running.
Yes. This is why I love doing it though.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get emotional when I say it, because there's a point in I'm talking long distance running here. Okay. You guys, every time you run 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 miles. Okay. That's where I'm getting to now. I started with just running a couple miles a day and then dying for the week and then trying to do it again. That's just kind of how it is. But you get to a point where something comes over your soul, man. Something hits you. You see the same bird the day before. You see the same people running, getting their shit done the same day on the same trail at the same time the next day. Something happens where it just, everything just disappears and you forget all the bullshit that you think is going on in your life and or may be going on in your life. I get it. We all have our shit. But some of that stuff disappears, man. Do stuff that's out of the ordinary. Never just keep going to the gym, doing the same exercises with the same people at the same time, lifting the same damn weights. You got to do different stuff out there, man. You got to find something that you can become obsessed with that's fucking healthy. You have to do it. And I'm asking a lot. I'm asking a lot from people. I really am. I know how hard this thing is. This thing called life is a motherfucker. And I apologize for saying it, but it really is. It's very difficult. And we look at it in such a big macro where, okay, my nutrition's got to be on point. My fitness has got to be on point. I got to run. I got to do cardio. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to hop on keto. Got to hop on this. Got to hop on carnivore. Got to hop on this. That's not it, guys. Strip it down. Strip it down to the nuts and bolts. What do you need to do? Sleep, hydrate, eat. Boom. Figure it out how that works best for your lifestyle and start attacking it every single day. When you get better at that, tweak it. When you get better at that, add something. Don't add something until you're done with it and it's tweaked and you're 100% with it and you're being better. And that's what you need to do. We all know what we're doing wrong. We all know what we're doing wrong. It looks at us every day. I can't believe I did it again. Wish I had 30 more minutes in the morning, but I sat on my phone for 30 more minutes. We do it. We all do it. We know exactly what we do wrong. Yeah. So start taking those little things out. Start taking them out one at a time. There's a couple processes to these things. Your coaches can help you out. This is why we're here. Okay. Yeah. We've done it. We lived it. We want to show you, want to give you, this is the shortcut. You want a shortcut to losing weight? It's not Slim Fast shakes and plastic wraps, guys. It's getting a coach that can put you on the fast track to success in no time.
100%. Mic drop. We should just end it there, but I do have a follow-up question. So that was fabulous, and thank you very much. Because once again, I think people are tired of hearing me say it. But I just because this is going to be going out around the holidays, and I know a lot of people are thinking they're going to wait till January 1st to get their nutrition and fitness goals down. Like, what would you say to someone who's waiting for like that perfect time to get started?
Oh, I love this question. I think you said, who would you talk to about this question?
No, I didn't. I was just thinking about it because I was looking at my list. This is going to go out on the 27th, and I think I'm going to call it Tough Love.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. That's perfect.
Yeah, so that's like, right. I think everyone's expecting me to do like how to have a healthy Thanksgiving episode, which I'm not doing, BT dubs, or like healthy holidays. I might, who knows? But right now it's not on the schedule because I think every day should be a healthy day. But I would love to know from you. Yeah, this is going to be coming out, I think, the day before Thanksgiving. Cool. So most people are probably thinking, I'm just going to wait till January 1st.
Right. So we can ask this question to all of your audience. So everyone who's listening to this right now, how many of you have made resolutions? Raise your hand. Okay. You all did. How many of you have given up on that 30 to 50 days later? Raise your hand. You all did. We all have done it. We've all done it. And I have a post on my Instagram a while ago. I think I just reposted it. I think it's like 50 days is the max by the US study back in 2006 or last year or something like that. Within 50 days, people quit their New Year's resolutions. Why wait? Okay. So if you're waiting to get anything back on track for the new year, for your fun New Year's resolutions, which I hate resolutions. I get change is good, but waiting for that one time a year to get things on. Imagine if you went to the doctor today and he said, listen, tomorrow you have to change your eating habits immediately. And you're like, I saved that for New Year's. Cool. What's going to happen? You're going to start to fade away. You're going to start to get more sick. You're going to go back to the doctor. He's like, do you change up the way you're eating? You say no. He said, why? I don't know. I'm waiting another 30 days. It's the new year. Then I'll do it then. You have any idea how absolutely stupid you sound? Everything that you need to do is today. Actually, it was yesterday. You should have started yesterday. Don't wait to the new year. There's so much time left. You know what you can do in 30 days? Honestly, let's just say this. You stopped drinking for 30 days right now, and you love that glass of wine when you come home from a hard day of work, or you love that bourbon when you come home from work. I get it. Or that cigar, or that way that you decompress, or that tub of ice cream. If you just said 30 days, I'm going to give it up. You're ahead 30 more days. You know, November's around the corner. It's like, no, listen, you have tons of time to do something, to get started. Don't wait on things. Life doesn't wait on you. Life doesn't wait on you. It does whatever the hell life wants to do, and you have to respond to it. These are things that are in your control. Take some extreme ownership and start now. It's so silly. All you're going to do is burn more time. And if you really think you're going to be more motivated just because everyone says New Year's is the time to start, you're going to be almost demotivated. Why? Because you're coming off of birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving. You're full. You gain 5 to 10 pounds because that's what happens. 5 to 10 pounds is the average that a person gains in the holidays starting right now. It starts with the tons of candy that you leave in your house. It honestly does. I could say right now, there's a bowl of candy in front of me. Why? Because I went to trunk or treat and I bought 10 pounds of candy. I probably needed to buy one. Guess where the candy's at? It's right in front of me in a bowl. Guess what's happening? I'm eating it like all day. And I'm a coach, guys. I'm a coach. Yeah. So these things are going to get thrown away, or I'm going to pass them off to someone or give them to my nephew. I don't believe in waiting for the right time. There is never a right time. Never a right time. Life doesn't wait for you. Why are you waiting on your own life? It's silly as shit. Take some extreme ownership in your life. Take some pride. Take some pride. And when you do take some pride and you do actually maintain some ownership in your own life, you guys, that's freedom. That's more freedom than anything you've ever experienced. Getting your nutrition and your fitness under control, it's freedom. It's not a burden. We shouldn't have to walk out of the house with it shackled around our leg every day and drag it. That's so silly. Why are we making these things that we want changing so bad? Why are we making it so impossible to change it? Why is that? Everything you want is right there. You know what you have to do. Like I just said, we all know the shit that we're doing that we need to be doing. We know the stuff we're not doing, and we know stuff we should be doing. Why do we have to bridge that gap? You know what you have to do. Do it. If you need help, get a coach, talk to someone, get the people around you. The coach can put those puzzle pieces together faster than you can think about them. Yeah. Because we know those processes. We know it. Yeah. Do not wait. Do not wait.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Guys, if you are not motivated to take action, I think you might be dead inside. I'm I'm just like, yes, where do I go? What do I do? Give me something
you guys can't see, but Toni's actually putting on her Nikes to go running.
Oh my gosh. No, but seriously, guys, I will, and I say this all the time, and I genuinely mean it. Every single client that works with me, their only thing they're upset about is that they didn't start sooner. And I genuinely mean, it's like, I'm not just saying that just to say that. I'm sure people say that to you too. They're just like, I can't believe it took me so long to do this, where I could have been living my life healthy and happy and energized and just with ease. Life still happens. It still happens to you, but it's just a little easier to manage and to deal with it. And those bad days aren't so bad, and they're not as long. And you get to experience being with your family and your friends, quality, attention, your head is actually there. You're not focused on damn, I shouldn't have eaten that, or, oh my God, I have to go to the gym, or why didn't I go to the gym? You're just present. And It's a very beautiful thing. So, listen to Anthony and me. Don't wait.
It's funny that you say that, because we are the only species in the world that can talk ourselves into circles, right? We will come up with a million and one excuses. Won't do it. I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. You guys, we are the only species that does that. Mm-hmm. Shark knows what it has to do. Lion knows what it has to do. Zebra, giraffe, you name it, a fish. They all know what they have to do during the day, and it's the same thing every day. Is that how I want you to live your life? No. But we are the only species that can do that. We always can make up excuses. We can go in any direction that we choose. We're very lucky that we can do that, but we're pretty damned on it too, though. Like we need to have processes put into place to do every single day. And when you get there so much faster, when you get there so much faster, like you just said, you look back and be like, why the hell did I not start 2 months ago? Like, look how fast that was. Look how far I've come. And it's one of those things, like if you just put those processes into place, next thing you know, everything's starting to work again. Health, you're healthier, you're working out, you're eating better. Work's not so bad anymore. Why? Because your mindset has changed. All these things is changing your mindset, it's changing your lifestyle. And then, you start living for the now and stop thinking about the past. You guys, the past is the past. It already is. What Toni just said, it's already in the past. We started the podcast, it's already in the past. We can't change that shit. If you need to forgive yourself for something. I get that. You need to forgive someone to make you feel better. Forgive somebody. Move on. Move on. Get your shit together. Do it today. Do not wait for tomorrow.
Wow. Thank you so much. All right, Anthony, just because we're both kind of on a time constraint, is there any last minute things that you want to add?
No, man. You had no more questions, huh? This is the easiest hour ever. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Where can people find you?
So I'm most active, like everybody, on Instagram. So my handle is Everyday Anthony J, because I bring it every single day. And then you guys want to find me on Facebook. My VIP group will be opening up very shortly. I am Everyday Anthony J Nutrition Coaching. And I'm on Twitter, and I have my 2 podcasts also. It's the Everyday Growth Podcast and the Everyday Pursuit, which I do with my good friend, Justin Lawrence, who is also a nutrition coach. You guys, I'm everywhere. Find me on Instagram, and I can point you in direction to everything else.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anthony. I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, hon.
Oh my God. Another great interview. I love these interviews so much. If you're not like pumped up to go to the gym right now and just like lift lots of weights, I don't know what else to tell you. I know that I got motivated through listening to him. But in all seriousness, he did share some really dark stuff with us, some places that I know that he is very proud of to have grown from and is now choosing to inspire you. So please do me a favor, and by screenshotting this episode, share it on your story and tag Anthony and let him know that his story helped you. And if you know anybody, like I said this in the intro, I'm going to say it again. If you know anybody struggling with drug addiction or not feeling like they're worthy enough, or they don't have a clear path ahead of them and they're really looking for that wake up call and they're on their road to hitting rock bottom, just send them this episode, please. It will save their life. It will really, really save their life. Once again, guys, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you so much. If you're not already subscribed to the podcast, please subscribe. A new episode comes out every Monday and every Wednesday. And when you are subscribed, you won't miss a beat. So thank you for listening. As always, I am Toni Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.